Are ye gods? You know, I've been sitting here today and I committed the whole day for 15 hours just listening to the different televangelists speak on the issue of is man God? And each and every one of these gentlemen said no. I don't get the logic behind that, especially if we're reading the same book. This is crazy. And it's frustrating and it's tiring to have to listen to. We're listening to a 200, 300, 400 year message about whether man is a god or not a god. This should not even be a conversation. Because are ye gods? The answer is yes. They're taking the book of Psalms 82 verse 6 when it was written in the book of Psalms, ye are gods and the children of the Most High, but you die like men. Well, first of all, let's deal with the word death. Because death is not what has traditionally been forced on us. The definition of death is immortality, moving away from life. I'm going to give you that again. Death is the immortality moving away from life, meaning man don't die. Because if man died, that means that the breath that the gods breathed into the dirt and made man, formed man from the dust of the earth and made man a living being, that breath has an expiration date, which we know is incorrect. There is story after story after story that illustrates and teaches that human is a god. Jesus told his disciples. I ran that past a young lady and she said, "Oh, well, they were talking to the disciples." Well, who were they talking to in the book of Psalms? I want all you all to please go to your pastor and ask your pastor this question. Eve was punished for becoming a god, from talking to the so-called serpent. Nevertheless, she became a god, no matter how you choose to look at that. So you're saying to me that now she's going to be punished and cursed for her disobedience. So as a god, karma, she's still connected to karma. She still have to suffer karma as a god. Please make some sense of that. When people say they so-called die, or when they transition, and they come back and they tell the world, yeah, I went to heaven and I've seen this bright light, this God. That doesn't even make sense. Light didn't come into fruition in the sacred text until chapter 1, verse 2. But before then, there was the heavens, there was the earth that were created. I have to say so-called because it doesn't read, it reads, but that's not what it's really saying. Darkness was there, water was there, the Spirit of God was hovering, and there was a void, and there was no form. So light didn't come until that was the fifth phenomenon created. You'll have to start making better sense of this. So the light was no more than an aspect of infinite consciousness. So in this whole book, you all are saying that man does not have the ability to elevate or reach his God's consciousness. And these preachers and these teachers and these online evangelists and televangelists is constantly saying, you all are not even questioning, why are they constantly telling us that when the book is telling us something different? And I have to try to be easy, but I'm getting tired because I was one of those people that did a lot of reading, but excluded science, excluded history. I excluded all of that stuff because I was told if it didn't come out the text, it's incorrect. But what they didn't tell me is You have to go into the text to see what they're talking about. It's not even a Bible. It's a sacred text that will give you the information that you need. You want to read it, you want to reach your infinite consciousness is here. You want to heal is here. You want to eat right is in here. They're telling you everything that you need to know. But you can't get that information when you're constantly being told this is how it's supposed to look. You're bashing homosexuality in the name of God. That doesn't even make sense. This God here is supposed to be angry. He don't like homosexuals. He destroyed humanity. He's tearing up the earth. You saw his face in a bush that never burned. Y'all have to make sense of that, man. How does you set fire? How does fire reach a bush and the bush doesn't burn? Then you have to ask yourself, well, it has to have some kind of symbolisms to it. Adam showed us how to become a god. Eve showed us how to become a god. Yakuva or Jacob showed us how to become a god. Jesus showed us how to become a god. David, they each and every one of them has illustrated to us how to achieve or move, not elevate, but move into our God's consciousness. And these same preachers ask them all, please, and come back and say something and email me, talk, whatever. They can't prove there's a heaven. They can't prove there's a hell. They can't prove there's a Satan. They can't prove there's a Lucifer. They can't prove there's a demon, a rat. They have no proof for none of this information. And the world is transitioning. Before, many people will go to a doctor, they go to a pastor. But there are certain groups that will not get a blood transfusion because they're listening to what traditional religion is telling them to do. I'm not judging it one way or another. I'm saying to you, the information is in the text. It will teach you and give you the information that you need. Please contact me, debate with me, challenge me, even tell me that I'm wrong. And I have no other book but the sacred text to bring it to you. And if you don't challenge your preacher, please don't come challenging me. Come and get your lessons. I'm willing to give it. So all that I'm saying to you is science is to know. This, when you start moving into a more expansive sense of awareness, spiritual awareness, then we're not dealing with what you heard, what you think, what you believe, or what you practice. We're moving into what you know, because that is essentially what you have to do. So what's done in knowledge or what's done in science has to be undone in science, or undone with the knowledge that you have to obtain. Peace.